Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Melissa, and if you've been watching any of my videos, you might have seen that I've been going kind of from room to room, deep cleaning and decluttering. And today we are starting out in the dining room slash craft room slash homeschool-ish room. So I spent a few days this week tackling a few jobs at a time in little pockets of time, trying to get this one done. And there's not a spectacular transformation, but it's clean and tidy, and I was able to downscale and downsize a few of our things that we didn't need anymore. So if you're interested, I'd really appreciate it if you stick around. Overwhelmed myself. I've bought these probably a few years ago and had every intention of utilizing them in our day-to-day to help Sammy communicate, which he is verbal, but he's not great at telling us if something's wrong and what he might need. And we do try to help him find his words, but I had every intention of using these to help find his words, but it's very hard in the moment to be like, oh, I'm not going to keep this on me at all times, especially if I don't have pockets, or like maybe I should have had a belt with rings on it and be like whipping it out, and then flipping through to find just the right one and point it to it. So I'm not sure. I don't know why it's hard. I can get rid of a lot of stuff, but if I think, oh, these were cool and I could have used them properly and I didn't, maybe I should try again. That's hard for me, but I think I'm gonna donate them. Maybe somebody else can use them more effectively than I did, since I didn't really use them. I might try that felt board with the I feel I need. And since he is verbal, it's mainly needed if he's sick, hurting, some kind of sensory issue that's overwhelming his ability to use his words, and then we can help him find his words in those situations. So I might just use it as let's go over these feelings and then come up with what you might need when you have those feelings. And you can then, he'd be better equipped. So we'll see. Calendar. I'm gonna get rid of that too. camera over here so you can see what I'm even looking at in these drawers. This had calendar things. This is more of those cards, but green. I'll have to see what those are. I think it's visual schedule cards, which I really want to implement these better, but I have an abundance of cards that we're never going to use. Some of the activities on these are not applicable to us. We're not ever going to do them. So I can get rid of a lot of those. So I'll probably declutter some of that. But I also have little gadgets to help with reading, keeping his eyes where they need to be. Wait, these didn't work so well. These are like little things you put on your fingertips and highlight the words. These things seem to work the best. And then we had some pointers. That's like a little hand on a stick that you point with. Yeah. I'm going to go through these at some point. I don't know if it's today though. Here's more visual schedule cards. I think these were more, I kind of curated out of the massive load of them and put in here, and they would be more applicable to what we do. These, I'm going to start using this in our curriculum over the summer. This is shoulds and should nots. So it's a game, but I think I'm just going to use it like, look at this situation and go over what to do and what not to do. So like, as in when you're dealing with frustration, what you should do. And then it has one, what you should not do. And they can match them up. So let me leave that out with our school stuff. And we really don't, these are first, then visual schedule cards. We sort of have the same schedule every day, so we kind of don't need this for our school schedule. The only thing I can think of maybe using them for is sometimes he has trouble remembering. He'll ask over and over again when an activity is. But a lot of times it has to do with activities that are in the future on another day. So I don't know if these would work. So I don't know. It's hard for me to get rid of this stuff. Why? I think I'm going to get rid of this. I think I'm going to get rid of it. These are pictures. I was going to use these. These are from each of us. I was going to use these for something, but I didn't. We're not going to throw out the pictures. This I bought a book on teaching self-government, and I forget the author's name. She has a YouTube channel. And I got some like storybooks that are helpful too. These were in here. I don't actually access these. I should leave these out too. This is more for me. I need to correct negative behaviors. Basic skills and correcting negative behaviors. Yeah, I think I'll go over that. This is some extra stuff. I need to clear that drawer out. This tablecloth since when I was planning our wedding, so almost 15, probably 15 years, and I bought it at a discount store. It's just a vinyl tablecloth, and I haven't used it because I didn't want it to get messed up. I probably spent $5 on this thing, and we did our own decoration and everything because we were on a budget. I'm gonna use it. I'm trying to use the things that we have that I like. If it gets destroyed, I'll pick something else that I like. We have the marriage. We don't need the tablecloth that I used during the wedding. Here I have a bucket of hot water, dish soap, and some Pine Sol just to wipe down the chairs and part of the table legs. They're not too bad, but they do have some paint from all the crafts that are done in here, and just odds and ends. So getting those clean before I put each of these seat covers back on. I think I got these maybe for 20 bucks on Amazon, and I don't secure them how they're supposed to be because it's too much trouble to get underneath and clip them and all that, and easier to take them off and wash them this way. And they do have some permanent damage on them, but they've held up fairly well considering the 2 years they've been in the battleground that they've been in. This is one of my favorite movies from as when I was a kid. We used to rent it all the time from the Vance Video in Newton, Mississippi. And I was telling my boys about it, and we actually watched it on YouTube. And then my mom found it on Amazon, and she ordered it. And it wasn't until she got it that she realized it was a Betamax. We never had a Betamax; we had a VCR, but that cracked me up. And it has a little notice on the front that it has one hug certificate, so you get one hug out of that. Here I'm going to be reframing all these embroideries, cross stitch, I'm not sure what you call them, but I believe my aunt did these probably back in the 80s, and my mom just offered these to me. I think my grandmother had them, and she's been passed for about over a decade. But anyway, some of these are kind of falling apart, some kept falling off the wall. December never stayed on the wall. So I'm going to reframe them in groups of 4 to give them a better chance here. I think they're so pretty. And then you'll see there's actually a bonus one that I'll show you where I found a place for it. Why am I so bad at this? Why? if you've made it this far, I really appreciate you watching. We're getting near the end of the video. Around here, I like to say that hope is a promise, humor is required, and dishes are inevitable. I didn't wash any dishes in this video, although I did wash a lot of dishes this week, and I did move some around on that shelf, so they do show up from time to time. But yeah, I so appreciate it if you've made it this far, and I do hope that you have hope and that you have a relationship with the Lord and He brings you peace. God bless and take care.